Good morning, everyone. Let's stand to our feet today and worship together.
Come on, let me see you get those hands together. Come on. If you're thankful that God loves you, if you're thankful that God saves you, I want to hear you sing this morning. Here we go. Wandering into the night,
wanting a place to hide this weary soul. This back home. And I tried with all my might, and I just can't win the fight. I'm slowly drifting, a vagabond. And just when I ran out of road, I didn't know. And she told me that I was not alone. He picked me up, he placed me on the solid ground. I thank the Lord, I thank the Savior, because He healed my heart. Got no choice but to believe. My doubts are burning like ashes in a wind. So long to my old friends, burning in bitterness. You can't just keep it moving. Nah, you ain't welcome here. Come on, sing it. Down to the streets of gold. I'll sing up higher, I'll save my soul. This way we serve, found this way back. Another one, I am free. I am free. If you're free, sing it with us. I lost another one, I am free. I am free. I am free. Come on. I lost another one, I am free. I am free. Yes, I am free. I lost another one, I am free. I am free. Yes, I am free. I lost another one. I thank the Master. Oh, come on. I thank God. Come on, make some noise this morning. Yeah. Hey, man, you can have a seat for just a moment. I am Aaron, one of the pastors. We're so glad you guys are here today. We want to welcome you guys to Celebration. We want you guys to know something different. We want to know what it's all about. Maybe you're a guest. We want
To be able to know that if you get on there and click on the I'm New tab, we want to give you a free gift, totally free. That's just our way of saying thank you for being here. I promise, no strings attached. There's no like little, extra reading down the bottom. I promise you, it's just our way of saying thank you. We would love to do that because we're excited for what God has in store for us today, as we are continuing a brand new series. Brett Blackmore will be here. Love to Brett, one of our pastors, and we're going to be talking about how we can actually figure out how to live this life, knowing there are things that we need to take care of, things that maybe we don't even see that other people do. So we're going to continue our series on that today. But before we do that, we're going to worship together some more. But before we even get up and start singing together, we're going to take a moment just to refocus ourselves on what God has for us today. So let's have a conversation. Would you all bow your heads with me? Father, we're so thankful for you. God, our hearts are full of thankfulness for the fact that you love us, you save us, you care for us, you died for us, God. You gave us your son. And that's something just to praise you for. That's something to be thankful for, God. Help us to do that as we continue this time together to sing to you, to open up your word, and just the conversations that we have with each other today. God, we ask that it's a moment to be able just to uplift your name. God, you've created us for your glory. You've created us with a purpose. God, help us to be able to get closer to that purpose today as we grow together, as we learn together what it means to truly be the disciple that you've called us to be. God, help us to worship you more as we sing more songs to your honor, praise, and glory. We ask all these things in your name, and amen. Let's stand to our feet and worship some more. He invites everyone to stand before him today. So as we sing this together, let's remember that. Come on, you weary. Come on, you thirsty. Come to the well that never runs dry. Drink of the water. Come and thirst no more. Come on, you sinners. Come find his mercy. Come to the table. He will satisfy. Taste of his goodness. Find what you're looking for. For God so loved the world that he gave us. His Son to save us. As we all come to Jesus today, we come to the cross. We all come together. Sing this with us. Bring all your failures, bring your addictions. Come lay them down at the foot of the cross. Jesus is waiting there with open arms. With open arms. For God so loved the world that he gave us. His Son to save us. Come on, just praise him.
From whom all blessings flow.
Sing that.
Praise him, for the wonders of his
Come on, with one voice, listen to him.
Great God, great God,
that he gave us his one and only Son to save. For God so loved the world that he gave us his one and only Son to save us. Bring your addictions, come lay them down at the foot of the cross. Jesus is waiting. God so loved the world. Amen. God, we're thankful for your love. God, even though we don't deserve it, even though we find ourselves in a place where we think that our works, we think that our own person can actually perform these things to get closer to you, God, it's all within your grace. It's all within your mercy. And God, as we sing this song to you, we come to absolutely nothing else than our feeble praise given back to you. Let us sing this last song to your honor and your glory. All my words fall short. I've got nothing new. How could I express all my gratitude? I could sing these songs as I often do, but every song must end, and you never do. So I throw up my hands, praise you again and again. 'Cause all I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I'm nothing else fit for a king, except for a heart singing hallelujah, hallelujah. I've got one response, I've got just one move. With my arms stretched wide, I will worship you. So I throw up my hands, praise you again and again. All that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I'm nothing else before a king, except for a heart singing hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's sing our praises to him. Come on, my soul, oh, don't you get shy on me. Lift up your song, 'cause you got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. Yeah. Come on, my soul, oh, don't you get shy on me. Lift up your song, 'cause you got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. Oh, come on.
So I'll throw up my hands, praise you again and again. 'Cause all that I have is hallelujah. I know it's not much, I'm nothing else fit for a king, except for a heart. Father, we love you. We thank you. We praise you. I ask all these things in Jesus' name. And amen. You may be seated.
A lot of people are not really steeped in the ways of culinary breakthroughs. In the ways of culinary breakthroughs would look at this and see a design flaw. But in fact, that's not the case at all. Because this spoon-like ladle contraption does in fact come with an ergonomically designed handle.
Okay, so we're week 2. If you're online watching, man, we're so glad you're here. Give us a thumbs up. And for all of you in here, I like it. One person over there gave a thumbs up too. Yeah, online doesn't matter. We'll do it either way, right? If you want to give me an emoji, whatever. So question for you guys. I know no one likes my questions. Everyone's like, dude, we just want to go eat lunch and check off our boxes. Hey, we went to church today. Leave us alone. Here's a question, though. This is a tough one. Okay, it's going to seem cheesy. It's going to seem like so stupid. But there's a point to this. It's very helpful. It's important for you. Okay, simple question. Show of hands. How many of you hope to get to the end of your life and say, I was the most miserable person to ever live? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. No, some of you are like, wait, did you say make my husband the most miserable person? Yeah, I can do that, right? No, I'll make my spouse, yeah. Are my kids making me miserable every day? Yes, 100%. Yeah, no. Would you like to be miserable? Because here's the thing. As we are in week 2 of Here's Your Red Flag, today we're going to talk about the comparison trap. Last week, Aaron talked about anger. This week, comparison trap. And I want to challenge you guys to kind of think about some areas of your life where you wave kind of this comparison flag, okay? And just to kind of get us started here and to see the value, because what I've learned is nobody I've ever met, at least being honest, has came to me and said, I'd just like to be more miserable, Trent. Things are too good right now. Or, you know, my wife and I, relationship's better than it needs to be. Or, you know what, my kids are in a good place and they're getting good grades. I just don't like it. No, we don't, right? All of us are like, I don't want to be miserable. But as we learned today, there are things we do, which is ironic, that literally make us more miserable. So we want to kind of think about today, what are some things? So I want to walk through some things that we compare, okay? Because we live in the land of We do. And it's not just us. It's all over the world. It's been this way for thousands of years. But the bottom line is we live in this place of E-R, more, right? So what are some things we compare? I want you to kind of think about, to get you in this mode today, what are some things that you possibly struggle with comparing. First would be this possessions, right? A lot of us, we want to be richer. It's not that I get it, Trent. We make enough and we can get by and we can pay our bills, but I just wish I had more, right? It's not that I'm so unhappy with what I make. It's just I know my neighbors make more, or I know they have nicer stuff. So since they have nice stuff, and have you seen their countertops? I love that. I love the fact that women can just get obsessed and lose their mind over a countertop. Did you see those countertops? You mean the stuff we put food on? You mean the stuff that we have 18 Kool-Aid stains on? Yeah, I've seen them. I'm not that impressed, right? But we do. We want to be richer. Second one real quick, appearance. We want to be skinnier, right? Some of you are even built pretty well and you're in decent shape, but you're like, no, not enough. Getting a little bit of the love handles. I gained 16 pounds on my cruise, okay? That's not made up. I literally got on the scales before I left. Came back, I was disappointed. I was shooting for 26, right? A lot of you in here are like, no, dude, we can tell you gained weight, right? That shirt almost looks like it's been saran wrapped on you. Yeah, fair enough. So we'll get back to that. But we do. It's about appearance. Two more real quick. Circumstances. I know Trent, he's even a pretty good guy, and we're not miserable, but I just wish I was happier. I just wish I was just a little more happier. I don't know. I just don't know if she's really fulfilling me. And when I was getting married, I didn't think it was going to be like this. And I'm just not. I just want to be happier. Right? The land of Ur. And then the last one, and this is the one that kills me. This is me. This is Trent Carpenter summarized. Performance. Right? I just want to be better. And I just want my kids to be better than your kids. Right? I do. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Like I like when I'm, and I'll take it a step further. I'll just be brutally honest with you guys. I'm not even an Ur guy. That's for you jokers who aren't even that good. You know what I am? I'm an est. I don't want to be better. I want to be the best. So I don't just want to beat you. I want to embarrass you. I want my kids to be what you see what I'm saying? Like that's this performance, which being competitive, driven, that's kind of where it goes. So set this up today just to tell you how bad it is when like you're in a situation and it's not going well and then someone else tells about their situation. Aaron, who one of our singers up here, they're so good. They do such an amazing job. But Aaron, last week kicked off this series. And one of the reasons I wanted to kick off because I didn't know if I was going to be back in time because as I said, I went on a cruise. Well, we get on the cruise and some people in this room were on this said cruise with me so they can tell you I'm not making this up. We get on the cruise ship, and I'm excited. Man, Easter, we had a lot of service. It was awesome, but I'm tired. I'm just ready to be done. I left here. None of you care. I know this, but this is cheaper than therapy, so I'm just going to tell you my stuff. So I get in the car, and I drive like 13 hours straight, get there at like 2 in the morning to the cruise. I just want to be there. And once I remember we pulled in, get this hotel, and I'm like, man, it's done. The rest of the week, I'm just going to eat, lay, hang out. Yeah, it's just awesome, right? It's awesome. Get on the boat, sunshine, the birds are chirping. It's awesome. About 30 minutes in, it starts to rain. And when I tell you, I don't think it quit. The next morning, my kids walk in and everybody's excited with their scuba gear. And attention passengers, this is your captain. We will not be stopping in Nassau, Bahamas today. Too windy, weather's too bad. We'll try tomorrow. Have a good day. What? Right? So then we go to a different port to stop. We get there next morning. About halfway through that evening, they're like, correction, we're going to go back now because the weather's worse and try to go back to Nassau, the Bahamas, right? So, okay. So it gets to the point where like all this stuff, we finally get to the Bahamas. We're excited because like, hey, they went back because the weather's better there. It wasn't better. It was 32 degrees. The wind chill was about 7. Just pouring the rain. I looked over at my wife at one point. She has 7 towels laid on her. Her lips are blue. Isn't the Bahamas gorgeous? Like, man, terrible. But the reason I tell you that, I did a little mashup because this all happened. Aaron last week, I was in the second service. My wife's back there. She is now. She's filming. And he starts talking about the weather back home during spring break. And my wife looked back at me and I thought, she's going to rush the stage. Call security. She's going to literally, I'm not kidding, she's going to cut him. Right? This is what happened.
And I don't know about you guys, but this past week, was it not just simply gorgeous this whole week? I mean, just amazing. How many of you been outside all this week just because you can get outside, right? And it's warm. It's sunny. Oh, it was nice. You guys were probably doing your little gardens, right? You guys were out. The children were playing in the yard. You know, all
Now, the people who are on that cruise with me will tell you that's not too far-fetched of what we dealt with, right? And it was one of those things where it's the way life works for us, right? We see something, we see what someone else has, like, why can't I get that? Why couldn't God gave me that? Why is God putting me in this situation and he's not making them do that, right? We compare. And what we learn is this comparison trap actually leads us to be miserable. It really does. There's no win in comparison. There just isn't. So what I want to do is kind of share, I'm going to go fast here. About several thousand years ago, there was a guy by the name of Solomon. Now, according to the Bible, I'm just going to kind of give you a picture of this man as he's writing this, kind of his musings or his thoughts on life and God and how all this works. But let me give you a backdrop. According to the Bible, they say that Solomon was the wisest man to ever live. So he's like IQ, like Stephen Hawking, super smart. Okay. He is wealthier, probably wealthier than Elon Musk is right now. He has so many women, okay, that literally if he wanted to, I didn't even say this in the first service because you guys are a little more mature. Okay. He literally could have picked a different woman and would not have gotten back to the first woman if he just said, I'm going to spend a night with a different woman at my disposal. He literally wouldn't have got back to her till like year 3, like 900 plus women, right? Money. He has more power than the president of the United States. He's the man. He's the king. And he sits down. So with all this stuff, he's been there. He's like, I've had power. I have power. I've got more money than any of you can count. I am crazy, wicked, smart. And I didn't add this. But his mom and dad both were attractive, so let's not lie. He probably was super attractive. He probably was Jake Gyllenhaal walking around, right? I also use Richard Gere at the 9:30 because, P.S., they're older, okay? I said Richard Gere, they're like, well, that's a fine-looking young man, if I must say. I think he's 70. Nope, young boy. Look proud of him, right? Some of you are so young in here, you're like, Jake, I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah, so he has it all. Here's what he says. This is so good. I'm telling you, I think I want to give you just super fast kind of 2 big ideas that I really want you to kind of think this compare. And I struggle so much with this. And I'm not going to fix it today. I'll be honest with you guys. It's not like do this one thing, it's done. This is just ongoing for all of us. But I want to give you hopefully 2 questions and kind of something that maybe, just maybe, can help you as it's helped me the last few years. So here's what he said in Ecclesiastes 4, several thousand years ago, so relevant 2023. He said, then I observed that most people are motivated to success because they envy their neighbors. Now think about how profound that is. He's like, most people will tell you they strive for success because they want to maximize who they are. But I've watched people, and that's not true. Most of the people that I observed, he said, most people are motivated to win, to succeed, not because of who they are, but because of the people around them and what they are doing. Everyone's determining where they're based in life based on where other people are based, right? It's pretty profound. And he goes on, he says, but this too is meaningless. And he's going to give us kind of a word picture, this concept that I'm telling you can change your life. It's so profound. He said, like chasing the wind. If you want to chase the wind, oh, Trent, I don't know how to chase the wind. Exactly. Trent, I don't even know what I'm looking for. Exactly. Trent, I don't even know what the target would be. Exactly. This is chasing the wind. So what he's telling us here, this is the first big idea. You'll never win chasing the wind. So some of you in here like me, I love to win. I do. It means so much to me. If you could tell me, Trent, you're going to live in a refrigerator box, you're going to be homeless, you're going to eat cans of tuna the rest of your life, but everything you do, you'll win. I'd be like, sign me up. I want to win, right? Now, some of you here are like, that's psycho. I get it. You're not driven that way, but I am. At the end of the day, just let me win, let my people win. I'm happy. I don't need anything else. And here's what I say. It's like, but there's no win in this. It's endless. It's pointless. There's no finish line. Chasing the wind. Comparison is what puts the dis in discontentment. And here's what he's trying to say. He's like, look, if you want to be happy, you're not going to do that chasing the wind, looking at those around you. And I'm so guilty of this. Now, some of you in here is what I would call it, no offense, you're the lazier people. I've been telling them all along, you're working too hard, you're spending too many hours. Just relax, watch Netflix with me. I'm 700 pounds. I don't care. Life's good, right? Well, I like because he kind of answers a little bit. He's like, no, let's not take this too far. He says, fools fold their idle hands, leading them to ruin. So he's not saying, hey, just don't do anything. He's like, no. What I want you to think about is why you do what you do. Because all of us in here are really good at lying to ourselves. Do you know that? You don't realize how good you are at lying to yourself till you get married. I tell my wife stuff, and halfway through I can tell she's not buying it. I'm like, who am I kidding? I don't buy this either, right? Stuff I'm saying myself. We don't even believe our own lies. But here's the best one. So we see you'll never win chasing wind. And then the second thing, chasing more always leaves us wanting more and working more. This idea of chasing wind, of chasing more. Matter of fact, look what he says in Ecclesiastes 4. He says, and yet, better to have one handful with quietness. Better to have one with peace. Better to have one where you go to bed at night and you're not just consumed than to have two. Two with what? Than to have two handfuls with hard work and chasing the wind. Now, when I was a senior in high school, I look around and see a lot of young people. I'm so thankful for that. So thankful. You understand. See, even in the first service, I don't know why these kids would wake up so early to show up for church. They do. It's awesome. A lot of young couples in here, a lot of kids getting ready to start in high school, getting ready to start college. I wish more than anything that when little Trent was 18, I graduated at 17, someone would have come to me and shared what I'm about to share with you. Because I'm not kidding. I think I spent so many years chasing the wind for someone to just stop and say, let me give you some wisdom. So here's a concept I want to give you. Chasing the wind. I want you to picture all of life. All of us in here are track runners. Some of us look like track runners. Let's be honest, some of us in here don't look like track runners, okay? We look like shot putters. But it's okay. But we're all on track, and God says, here's how it works. All of you in this room are on a track. Now, there's 8 people to a track. So we walk over here. South Point Bay's like, no, it's better than that. All of us, the whole earth is just covered with tracks. And all of us are put in a lane to run. Here's what I've learned about comparison. If you're not on the same track as me, I'm competitive. I still don't care. And I've learned that people in different phases of life with me, I don't care. Matter of fact, when we were at the Bahamas, I remember we're sitting there. It's cold. It's rainy. My wife is miserable. She keeps reminding me, I don't know why, how much money we paid for this trip to be cold and miserable. By the time she's like, my mom just texted me. It's really warm there. Thank you. About that time, a couple, I'd say maybe 18, 19, 20, 21, guy and girl come walking by. They were gorgeous. Gorgeous. I mean, ripped, in shape. Let me tell you this. They were so good looking, the rain did not affect them. It made them glisten. They didn't feel it. They're like, when you're so good looking, we don't even feel the elements. They're laughing. And you know what? Trent, were you jealous? Not at all. I laughed. I want to say, wait 20 years, buddy, you're going to look like this. I'm the original Jelly Roll, right? I love it. This is my favorite singer, right? It's like, that's me. Like, I don't feel that. But you know what happened a little bit later? Another couple walked by, and he had that awesome kind of like pepper gray hair. So he's older, like me. He comes walking by, his wife, they're both smoke shows, just walking by. Now I'm a little bothered, right? But then I start telling myself this lie. I was like, no, Trent. They're divorced. They're cheating with each other. That's why you get in good shape, right? People get divorced, they get ripped. They're jacked. And then I see like 4 little kids following them, right? I'm like, still probably just stepkids, right? Then by the time they make an announcement, we're going to celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary. That bothers me. It's the same for you. Same for my kids. Let me tell you how sick people are. People will never tell you this, but if you want to see this sickness at its max, go to a Little League baseball game. Don't tell anybody what you're doing. Just watch and start watching parents whose kids aren't playing much. and watch how excited they get, even though they have to fake it, when a kid on their own team who's playing in front of them strikes out. You know why? Because the mom's over there. I hope he strikes out. Well, you know he's 7. I don't care. He's not better than my boy, right? He sucks. That's all I'm saying, right? Must love the coach. Like, I don't know. But we do. It's this weird game we play here. Same to me. If you walked up to me, my kids are both into sports, love sports. But if you walk to me like, hey, you know, my kid's the same age and he's in the band. I love it. First chair. I don't know what that means, but I hope he's first chair, right? You know, my kid bowls. That's great. I hope they win it all. But then you get something close to me. And here's my whole point. On life, we're not tempted on other tracks. So most of us will pass it off and be like, I'm not even into the comparison. I don't even care about it. But what I've learned is when someone's on my track, not even in my lane, just on my track, now all of a sudden I start watching. Wait a minute. Why is he getting this? Wait a minute. Why? How are they in such good shape? Wait a minute. Why are their kids getting these things? Right? See, and what happens is this weird thing where someone's like, yeah, you know what it is? You're chasing the whim. So I want to give you 2 questions. This is the whole point of this. I wish at 17, someone would have said, hey, Trent, can I give you just some wisdom? But here's the beauty. If you're 47 right now, like me, I'm not 47, but I meant you're close to my age, then you struggle with this. If you're 67, still real. It's real for all of us. Here's the 2 questions. We're going to keep going through these verses. First question is, what ultimately fulfills you? And I answered it for you. I put nothing. Now, I know some of you are like, dude, that's kind of rough. It's kind of mean. But I didn't space out the words right. What I meant to tell you was what ultimately will fulfill you, and it should say no thing. You see, no thing will fulfill you, nor will it I. And the quicker you can learn that in life, that you're literally only as healthy and as happy as your relationships. Do you know that? You know how I know that? I have friends. I have one friend, I won't say anything. I have a friend who literally is, I know for a fact, is a multimillionaire. Right? No. I have other friends that literally are 1 paycheck away from being homeless. And I can tell you from the people I know that have way more money than me, those who have terrible relationships are miserable. I also know people that have way less money than I do who have solid relationships and they have peace and joy. You see, because this is what we learn. We think it's different, but it's not. What ultimately fulfills you? No thing. It's only relationships. Look what he goes on to say. And this is supposed to be the wisest man to ever live. He says, I observed another example of something meaningless under the sun. Let's stay with this thing. He said, this is the case of a man who is all alone without a child or a brother, yet who works hard to gain as much wealth as he can. He said, hey, in this culture, you really would work and live because you would leave an inheritance either to your brothers or to your children, your firstborn. And he's like, I looked and here's a guy who's killing it, but he's got nothing. He's got no one. It's kind of meaningless. There's a lady this week whose kid was struggling, her kid, and she said to me with tears in her eyes, 100% sure, tears in her eyes, she quoted a message from me 4 years ago. And here's her phrase, and I realized it stuck with her because she remembered it very quickly. She had tears in her eyes and she said, and I was like, look, it's tough. This is a tough situation. I hate it for your kid. Kid's struggling. I hate it. I've been there. It's awful. And with tears in her eyes, she looked at me and she said this. She said, you're only as happy as your unhappiest kid, right? Pretty wise words, if I don't mind saying so myself. Came from me, right? No, I ripped it off somebody else. But is it not true? She understood in that moment, I don't care what I have. If my relationships aren't good, it doesn't work. That's the first question. Like, really, what's going to fulfill you? What are you chasing? What wind are you chasing? Only to maybe get to this imaginary finish line and realize, wait a minute, is this all there is? Is this it? It's not what's cracked up to be. But this question is even better. Now you will lie to yourself, but you got to answer this honestly. Who are you performing for? Who are you doing what you do for? See, I think if you don't answer that question, you're going to spend so much wasted time in your life to just stop and say, I got to be honest with myself. Here's what we all say. We cop out real quick. I just want to maximize my potential, Trent. I do. Great. I hope you do. You should do that. I hope all the young people in this room maximize your potential. But let me ask you, is that really why? Are you performing for a mom who's never been happy with you? I got to give you a newsflash. She's never going to be. I know that sounds harsh, but at this point in your life, if she's not happy with you, she's never going to be. But is that it? You know, maybe you're just fighting because that one time you want to hear your dad just look at you and say, proud of you. Some of you, sadly, your dad's passed away and never said it, and you're still trying to find it. You get what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing? Look what he says. He says, but then he asks himself, it hits him, wait a minute. So he asks himself, who am I working for? Who am I doing this for? Is it for me? Or is it because I've been watching everyone around me and I've been competing? Why am I giving up so much pleasure? Why do I have no joy? I don't. This is so good. It's also meaningless and depressing. Now, there's a book called 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. And this quote, this is worth the price of attendance, even though you didn't pay to get in. Not my best joke? No. Some of you, when you look at me, you literally stare daggers through my soul. I just want you to know that, okay? Some of you smile. That helps me. I'm just telling you. Let me give you guys just a little side note of public speaking, how it works. When you talk to someone, okay, in a crowd, I had to speak at high schools this week. And let me just go ahead and say this. It's awful, okay? There's a circuit that they do for prom where they have, can I say this real quick? I promise I'll go fast. But there's a circuit where they have speakers come in. One's like a magician. I've heard he's amazing. I want to see him, the way they were telling me how good he was. You got like a guy who plays a whole school in volleyball by himself and just waxes them, right? So they're announcing me at one of the local schools this week. Spoke at 2 different ones, and they're like, hey, we have a pastor from South Point. I'm not even from like Hawaii or something, right? Hey guys, how you doing, right? I mean, it's just awful. But here's what I learned. When people look at you like they hope that you die, it affects how you talk. It was hard. I was like, hey, let me give you a little joke. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's not funny. Okay. I walked out of there, got in my car and said, should I end it? What am I living for? But this is awesome. He said, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. That's good. Is it not? Like we're chasing stuff from others. And he's like, hey, yeah, I want you. This is what he said. Don't be lazy. Don't sit around and do nothing. But as you are striving, as you're saying, you know what? Okay, like what's God want me to do with my life? Great. That's a great question. Pursue it. Run with it. But just make sure you know, who am I ultimately doing this for? My son's in here, and this makes it more awkward, but my son loves sports. Both my kids love sports. Sons love sports, probably football from about 3rd grade on, favorite sport. And we had a run of some bad luck. I mean, as a parent, I would just say this. He's getting ready to graduate. He's going to move out. I'll never see him again. I know that. If you lived at my house and you graduated and left, you'd never come back either, okay? So it is what it is. It's no knock on him. He's smart. Bad luck. A lot of bad things happen. Just bam, after another. And we hit a moment where even as a dad, I was like, this is pretty tough. And it all happened, just long story short, and basically just all hit. And we're in a car and we're driving back. So I'm in a car with him after some pretty devastating news. We're in the car driving back. And he's mad, and I can tell he's upset, so I just let him stew and sulk for a couple hours. We didn't talk. 12-hour drive. Think about that. Does that sound fun? 2 people, one doesn't even want to talk, right? You got me, the clown, and the other side. Yeah, so I was like, quiet. 2 hours. And about 2 hours in, I promise you guys, he doesn't know this, first time he's ever heard it. I spent 2 hours in silence thinking, what could I say? What's one thing I could say that could give my son just a little bit of godly wisdom right now? I did 2 hours. And I'm not very smart and I'm not very wise. But here's the best thing I could come up with. I said, I want you, and I promise I'm going somewhere with this. I want you to determine for you, nobody else, not me, not your mom, not your family, not your girlfriends, not the city, not the town, not the team. I want you to decide for you why you play. Don't, and know that not the pat answer, not that, well, this, I love it. I was like, I need you to decide why you play. And I said, here's why. Because if you know your why, not the whole, well, if I do this, then I can get this, and maybe if this works well, then I can take this step, and I can do, because that's what all of us do. I just want to get here so I can get there, and at some point you got to all stop and say, why? And I said, but if you know, like if it's truly just because you love to be there, you love to practice, you love every moment you get to be part of something, you get to use gifts God's given you, if that's your why, nothing else matters. And can I give you guys some good life advice right now? Your story isn't football, or maybe it's a mom, maybe it's your job. But if I could share with you, if you understand your why, nothing else matters. But most of us lie about our why. I just made that up. That's pretty good. Okay, so here's the question as we close. Wanting more, working more, or worth more? The tale, 3 sons. Now I got to go fast here, but I want to share. Jesus in Luke 15 kind of summarized and hits the nail on the head. He said, hey, let me tell you a story about 2 sons. I know I said 3. We'll get to that in a second. He said, let me tell you a story. Tell the story. A man had 2 sons. The young son told his father, I want, catch that, it's underlined in my Bible, I want more. Dad, give me more. Some of you in here, this is your cycle. I just want more. Why? So I have more. So I have more than the people around me. Right? The younger son told his father, I want my share of the estate. Now before you die, everyone's listening like he would never do that. So his father agreed to divide his wealth. What? A few days later, his younger son packed all his belongings and moved to a distant land where he wasted all his money in wild living. Let me say this to you. If you want more for the wrong reason, you will always end up empty. I know that because I believe God says it, but I also know it because I've experienced it in my own life. If I want more for the wrong reasons, it's always empty. He says, meanwhile, so that the son comes home, he screws everything up, they throw a party. But notice this, it says, meanwhile, the older son was in the field working. And he gets ticked. So if you don't know the story, just to summarize it, bad young son wastes it. He just wants more, ends up empty, comes home. The dad's like, well, throw a party because I've always just wanted you around me anyways. The older son's in the field. He's not with his dad either, but he's working for his dad. He gets ticked because he hears music. So it says, when he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house. He asked one of his servants, what's going on? Now, why did I share that story? Because I think it gives us a great picture of, you got one of us as kids, if we're not careful, we just constantly want more. And then we're all like, but I still feel empty. It's because you're wanting more for the wrong reason. But some of us keep working more because we get after it. We go for it, right? I'm in that camp. Like, yeah, just make it happen. If it don't happen, you make it happen. But you know what happens? We get exhausted. Wanting more equals empty. Working more equals exhaustion because they're both done for the wrong reason. But you know, the guy who told this story, I think, was the 3rd son. His name was Jesus. He said, you guys don't get it. I want more. But you know what he wanted more of? He wanted more of relationships. He wanted more to see broken people be complete. Matter of fact, there's one day, kind of these people's lives was being changed and they're all excited. And one of his disciples looked at him and he said, I eat this stuff up. He literally, that's his phrase. I eat this stuff up. This is what I live for. I want more. I just want to see people. I want to see people brighter after I leave. That's what I want. He understood the relationship thing. But then he worked more. He just wasn't working so someone would be happy with him. He knew that his father was okay with him. See, there's a difference. Some of you, and I hope if I sound like a broken record, if nothing else, if you fell asleep, because I know I'm not that exciting, but if you fell asleep, listen to me, just get this before we leave. Just get this. If nothing else, you've got to get this in your head. You do not do good things so God gets happy with you. You don't. You don't keep working to earn for God. You remember what he did to the older brother? He puts his arm around him. He's like, just come in the house, man. Dad, I've been killing myself for you. I know. But I didn't ask you to kill yourself for me. I just wanted you. Jesus worked just as hard as the older brother, but he did it for a completely different reason. He wasn't trying to earn more from his dad. He was like, I know my dad loves me. Remember when he got baptized, they brought him up out of the water. Remember the very first thing he heard, like literally descended from the heavens? This is my son who I'm so pleased with. He's like, I get it. I get my relationship. And that's what I'd say to you guys. Quit wanting and working for more for all the wrong reasons. Now it becomes a get to. I honestly, my wife will tell you this. I'm not humble bragging. I'm just being honest. I'm pretty driven in life. So if you put me in a room, I don't need people to check on me. I can work for 10 hours a day and I'll find something to do. And some of you are like that, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's realizing I'm not working hard to earn anything. I get to. And once you learn that, you get this. Less is more. Less is more when it's what you were designed for. When you learn how truly you're wired, then less actually becomes more. And I wrote this down. Until you realize that you're worth more, you'll never be able to work more, and you'll never be able to want more. It just won't work for you. So, as we close, I want to put this in perspective, okay? You can go chase other people in your lanes. Here's most of you in life. Kind of running, you're feeling good, and you look over and someone blows by you, right? You're a mom, you felt pretty good because you got all your kids up that day, actually got them dressed, they're in the van, ready to go to school. Granted, there's still curlers in your hair, you're wearing your robe, right, with a cheddar cheese stain. I know that sounds very specific, but I had a wife who had a cheddar cheese stain on her robe. I did not think that was how it was when we got married. But anyways, so you're running, and this girl comes flying by you, right? She's in a nicer van. Her kids look immaculate, and it's just a Tuesday. Who gets their kids ready when it's not picture day, right? They look great. She looks great. And all of a sudden, what do you do? I got to go faster, right? It's the game we all play. But here's what I challenge you to do. What if you said this? I'm going to run my race. I'm going to stay in my lane. And I'm not going to chase the wind. Now, I was going to share something else with you, but we're running out of time, so I'm going to close with this. Here's why you got to be careful. We're getting ready to pray, I promise, but here's why you got to be careful. You will hear a voice, and this voice is tricky, this comparison voice, because it sounds like your voice. And here's what it'll say. Why'd they get that? It just whispers. It doesn't even talk to you, it just whispers. Why is he married? Why do all the guys talk to her and not me? Why is he so smart? Why did he get that promotion? Why? What? I don't understand why I work harder than she does, but everybody loves her. Why are her kids always perfect? Why does their house look like that? See, I don't know what the whisper is to you, but I'm just telling you, it whispers in your head all the time. And here's what I've learned over the last couple of years is to whisper back. I whisper back every time I catch myself in this, at the ball field, in the moment. And I get worked up. Sometimes some of you, I've talked to you about it. With me personally, my struggles. I'm like, oh. And then what I'll do is I'll get worked up and I'll get in my car. I'm like, I'm going to talk to somebody. I'm going to go after him. I'm going to kill someone. And I catch myself and I always whisper back to the voice in my head. You know what I say? That's just chasing the wind. That's just chasing the wind. I'm not going to chase the wind because there's no win in chasing the wind. So I'm not going to do it. And here's the best freedom you could hear today. Neither do you. Because you'll never win. Run your race. Stay in your lane. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. But don't compare yourself to anyone else in any other lane. They have a different life than you. They've been given more or less than you. They have skills you don't have. You have skills that they don't have. So it's crazy to compare yourself to someone who is not you. So as we get ready to pray, here's what I challenge you to do. Maybe today God's waving the red flag and saying, you got to quit this. You are going to kill yourself. Matter of fact, some of you, you're killing yourself right now. So just quit waving the red flag. Here's your red flag. The comparison trap will literally kill you like a rodent. So as we pray today, if you would just close your eyes for just a second. Father, as we come before you today, we thank you. We celebrate the good news of the gospel. Because we realize the good news of the gospel is you determine our identity. You do. I don't have to earn anything. Some of us in here who came from great homes get this. And I'm thankful for that, God. Some people watching online right now came from great homes and they don't strive and kill themselves to earn anything from their parents. Their parents love them unconditionally. But God, some of us are jacked up. Some of us grew up in a pretty tough situation where we felt like we had to earn or do better to be like our brother or our sister, because we heard those things. Why can't you be more like? And today we learned the third son. Jesus said, you don't have to try harder. You don't have to do more. Matter of fact, here's the best news. I've done it for you. So quit comparing yourself to others. Quit wanting more for all the wrong reasons. Quit working more for all the wrong reasons. Everything my Father has, He freely gives to us through Jesus. So today we celebrate. We celebrate true freedom. I don't have to compare myself to anyone else in this room or in this world, because I know my place with you, God, through your Son. I pray you help some people hear that today. I pray that as we want more, we want the right stuff. I pray as we work more, we work for all the right reasons, not envy of watching our neighbors and those around us. So God, as we close today, I pray for someone here watching online. I pray for somebody in this room right now, someone who may hear this days later. But today I know their heart is longing for freedom. They've truly been bound. They're in a prison of comparison. And today you offer that freedom through your Son. If you want that freedom, today's the day for you to take a big step. Look something like this. Maybe praying something like this. Jesus, I know I've made a mess of things. I know I've sinned. But I'm asking you to save me. Give me new life. And here's what I want you to hear from Jesus, directly from his words to you today. All of you who are tired, all of you who are weary, and you're burnt out and you're stressed out, here's Jesus. Come to me. I will give you rest. Come to me. So if that's you this morning, no one looking around, first time in your life you said, Jesus, my life is yours. I'm giving you completely. My life is yours. My trust is in you. If you said that prayer, I want you to something really bold if you would. If you would just lift your hand this morning. Not make you stand up, not come forward, but we want to say, awesome. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Awesome. Man, we celebrate that. Anybody else today say, yeah, today's the day. My trust is in you. It's not about me anymore. It's about the life you give me. That's you, hand in the air. Awesome. Jesus, we're so thankful for what you do. So thankful for the lives you continue to change. Jesus, we celebrate today. So thankful. So good. All about you. We ask these things in your name, and amen. Guys, listen. Have a great week. Kill the comparison trap. Live who you are. Run your race. Stay in your lane. Have a great week. We'll see you next week for week 3.